This is the Walk-Thru, powered by Triple F Elite Sports Training. Train like a pro. Your all-access pass to the biggest games, hottest stories, and everything high school football in East Tennessee. From the Friday night lights to the chase for championships, we bring you the stars, the headlines, and every heart-pounding moment. So strap on that chin strap and get ready. Jesse, Paige, and the 5-Star Preps team are here with the most complete high school football coverage in the state. This is the Walk-Thru.
Good evening and welcome into the Walk-Thru. Paige Dauer alongside Jesse Smithey getting ready for round 3 of the high school football playoffs, and no better way to set the scene than here inside Triple F. It's a bit of a different scene. We're kind of in the penthouse living now, kind of looking at everything going on behind us.
Are moving on up, as they say, literally. We're up in the loft, as they call it here at Triple F, and it's because they're crazy busy right now. They have volleyball teams training out in the gym. They have timing and agility going down on the turf, weightlifting going on. So I love it. It gives like an extra energy to the building.
It does.
And now we got inflatable Santa up in the building now. Candy canes going on.
We got the car and the Christmas tree behind us, which hopefully you all can see.
So it's festive, it's active, and it's what's going down at Triple F. So I love this place, and I love how big they're getting and how fast they're growing.
Yeah, and how fast they're growing too. You could even extend that into the University of Tennessee. I know we had former Carnes player and Deshaun Bishop on the show a couple of weeks ago, and now he's getting recognized for being one of the best college football players who started their career as a walk-on, now to a scholarship player. And we've talked a lot about him on my program at Full Disclosure Productions. But for somebody who's followed him his whole career, are you surprised that he ended up getting to be a scholarship player and now is one of the best to do it?
I think it's easier as a walk-on to get playing time when you're a running back or an offensive lineman or a linebacker. If you're a quarterback, not so much. And why is that? Because they're investing all their money and the belief into that quarterback position. But for Deshaun, I think they did have some things lined up for him. Maybe they didn't have a scholarship, but an NIL or something just to kind of get him in the door there. And he's taking advantage of that opportunity. And as he's told us and so many since he's become more vocal about just his journey at the University of Tennessee, it makes you root for him even more, especially when you know him a little bit. And I love what he's doing on the field. But I also love that he's out in the community. I took my son to a card show at World's Fair Exhibit Hall 2 weekends ago, and Deshaun was signing for free.
Wow.
So, and there was a line out the door, and I waited. I got up there, man, I can't believe I waited 45 minutes to get your autograph from my son. I already know you, but I wanted to support him, and I want my son to look up to somebody like that. So it's awesome to see him do what he's doing. Ability-wise, it's not a shot.
Yeah.
But I'm always going to root for that kid because his senior year at Carnes, he won Mr. Football for the second time in a row. And there was an outrage. Like, even though he put up insane numbers, there were some people from a different community in a different part of the state whose running back had better numbers, and they felt like it was just a statistics game. We're like, look, this dude, Deshaun Bishop, is legit.
Yes.
And I think they're learning that now.
Yeah, I think they are too. Well, I want to turn our attention to the high school football playoffs getting ready for round 3, but maybe we can walk back a little bit to round 2. Before we get there, we've got the Mr. Football finalist coming up as well, getting ready for that to be revealed.
Yeah, the lot coming down the pike here this week right before Thanksgiving. Mr. Football finalists will be announced next week.
Yeah.
In the state semifinal week, that'll be on a Tuesday night. They do it on like the Tennessee Titans coaches show, but they don't really have a coach anymore. They kind of interim coach. So it's going to be around, I think, 7 to 7:30 on Tuesday night next week. So kind of a nice little kickoff to Thanksgiving week. Some recognition being dished out there. So I look forward to that. But definitely, we've been keeping tabs on a lot of trends. You know, we did that bracket analysis in round 1. We told you about all the losing teams and who's still alive. So do you want to dig back into that?
I would love to go back to all of that.
I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to stats and stuff like that. So update, we still have 11 of our 70 teams left. That's not a lot. I think last week we had around 22, so it got chopped in half. So 8 of the games this week involve teams from 5-Star Preps area. So we have one in every classification in Division 1. All of our Division 2 teams are gone now, unfortunately. there's still 7 defending state champions left. Mason, Macon County lost back in, I think, round 1 or round 2, and so they've been out. But 7 defending champions still in the field this week. And 13 of our 14 unbeatens that we entered the postseason with are still unbeaten. The one team that lost was Happy Valley in 2A. And Paige, they had a 2-point conversion try right there on the goal line to win the game, and it got stopped a yard short. Those are the toughest losses. I don't know. I'd rather lose by like 20 than to have that play fester in my mind. If you're a senior, just to have to live with that.
Oh, I know, because the final score is 21-20. So I'm of the conversation. Do you just settle for the extra point, force overtime, or you have the mindset like, let's continue to be aggressive and win it here in regulation?
Look, I don't. Happy Valley's not in our coverage area.
Right.
So I don't know their coach. I couldn't call it. I have to believe that they had a group that came to a timeout, and he probably looked in his senior's eyes, and they said, "Coach, let's go for it," or something like that. Or maybe just the momentum was.
At least they go out swinging, you know.
Yeah, so I don't know. Hopefully they come to peace with it at some point. But they ended up losing it right there on a 2-point conversion try to Bledsoe County, who faces Eagleton this week, and we'll talk about that more later. Losing record teams. We have one left. CPA, which happens to be a defending state champion.
Yes.
They won in Division II AA last year. They're now in Division II AAA. They're 4-8. Like, I think this is a team that Catholic beat in the regular season.
Yeah, I believe so.
And I went to that game, and I looked at CPA, and they're huge, and they have a lot of length, arm length, and just like, so maybe they're finally piecing it together.
Maybe.
But they are 4-8. They're the only team left in the playoffs with a losing record.
Yes.
And then we've talked for 2 weeks now, maybe a little longer, about this controversial playoff bracket system. And the TSSAA sent out a email this week that said on Thursday this week, the Board of Control is going to meet about whether or not this playoff bracket system will continue into next year or the next 3 or 4 years. So I haven't heard from many people who like it. Other than Coalfield coach Benson Napier is on the program last week, I suspect it's going to get changed. I mean, why would you call this meeting now,
in the midst of the inaugural effort to try and do something different?
Yeah, I think the outrage and the backlash might be so significant that they need to show everybody they're willing to do something now. So that will be Thursday morning. I think they're going to live stream it, so I'm going to tune in and kind of report on social media as to what's going on. But yeah, the travel costs, the travel time, the mileage, everything that's gone into it's been significant.
If they can't find a happy medium between what was the standard for the playoff bracket to what it is now, what would you prefer? Would you prefer to go back to the same old?
Yeah, I think that's what happens. I think it goes back until there is some kind of foolproof, like all in, everybody in the state's all in. I talked to a coach just yesterday, and he was like, well, I mean, we didn't know this was coming. They sent out like a questionnaire, like, hey, would you be interested in entertaining like some possible second round
kind
changes?
of just like a temperature check.
And and again, when they got those results back, it was only like 55% of the coaches who actually responded that were in favor of it.
Oh.
And then it just kind of got pushed through by the Board of Control. So people need to know that the Board of Control, these are not TSSAA employees.
Okay.
So when I go to a Board of Control meeting, the executive director of the TSSAA can come in and say, hey, this is what we recommend. We want to reduce the amount of classifications. We don't like this playoff bracket system because fill in the blank.
Yeah.
And the Board of Control, they're like elected representatives from around the state. So we have one here in Knoxville that represents a certain amount of counties and schools. So I think they've heard from a lot of their constituents out there. And I suspect we're going to see some change, if not after next year, or if not after this year, probably next year.
Yeah, because the amount of teams who have had to travel 4+ hours in round 2, quite alarming. Let's walk back to round 2. Let's really talk about some of those games, because you mentioned the losing records, but there are also some surprising losses that happened in week 2 that I want to recap, and we could specifically start with Powell losing in round 2 to Lincoln.
That's a team that they're athletically better than Lincoln County, and you were there. I want to get your input as well. There were times where, and I had a writer there as well, and I was getting a text from you and from a writer, and it was like, Deuce Rogers is in the game. Deuce Rogers is out of the game. Zion Jackson, their wide receiver, is hurt. Did you feel like, and I'm just kind of reading between the lines, I think Deuce went back in the fourth quarter. Is that just him being a senior and going, look, I want to go down because this is my final year, and whether I'm hurt or not? I mean, did you feel like he was extremely hurt in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, because he really wasn't playing much at all in the second half. And you could just tell even when he was out there in the fourth quarter, especially after the one sack that we had in the highlights as well, like he was just kind of limping and wincing after the hit there, that you felt he was going out there for a last-ditch effort. I know it's the playoffs and the season is already on the line every time you take the field in the playoffs, but specifically after you give up that huge lead you had and you kind of see the end of your career and end of the season, I do feel like he went out there for some sort of heroics, hoping that he'd be able to help the team win. And they get the touchdown at the end of the game, but they can't get the onside kick, and that's how they end up losing.
And I love you mentioned the onside kick, because in the highlight package that you sent, it was Deuce Rogers who was on the ground, on the hands, like on the recovery team, whatever you're going to call it, diving for the ball. He almost got it. And then there was that great image of him with his helmet off that you had, the footage of just him trying to just process it all.
Yeah.
You know, how close he was to getting that onside kick in his hands, how quickly the lead evaporated. What were they, up 16 in that game at some point?
Multiple possessions. I think when I go back and I look at that game, what I think the team would be most frustrated with going back and looking at the film is, you mentioned it, they were much more athletic, much more talented. There were so many third and longs where this Powell defense just could not get off the field. Yeah. And there were so many times where the offensive line for Powell was just getting gashed, and Deuce Rogers or any quarterback that they had implemented had no time to get the throws off, and it kind of just compounded in the second half.
Yeah, so second year in a row, Powell has kind of lost a double-digit lead there.
Yeah.
Remember last year to Sevier County, they're up 14 with 4 minutes to go and lost that in regulation. So I know it's a disappointing end up there at Powell, but man, hats off to Deuce Rogers for what he was able to accomplish this year, playing hurt basically the whole year, and had an unbelievable season.
Turn our attention to Gibbs. They were supposed to be our road warriors of the playoffs. You had them going all the way, essentially.
Yeah.
How upsetting, how frustrating, what led to that loss in round two?
You know, the final score, I hated to see it because it wasn't indicative of how good Gibbs has been this year and the teams that they've beaten and how well they've been playing going into that game against Red Bank. They lost 34-7. There were some turnover issues. They really couldn't get the pass game going with DeJuan Harris. So, again, they're not going to be defined by that loss, but if you lose, and I expected them to go down there and compete and win that football game, but I was expecting it to see, if they did lose, 34-28, something like that. So disappointing end to the season for Gibbs, but again, this continues to grow up at Gibbs, and I suspect they'll be back next year and better than they were this year.
Two more surprising losses from round two, and the third one of this group of four would be Rockwood. What stands out to you about their loss?
Yeah, what I told you about that game last week against Sale Creek was Sale Creek, I think, had 10 wins, and none came against teams with winning records.
Yes.
And given the competition that Rockwood played, I felt like they would probably be the harder-nosed team, the grittier team, and I think that probably was the case at times, but 5 turnovers in that game. You cannot overcome that on the road. They got off to an early lead, I think Rockwood did, but just, again, mistakes. You can't make those in great numbers at this time of the year, especially on the road. So we'll talk about Sale Creek later in the program as they're matched up with one of our area teams, but I thought Rockwood might pull the upset there.
McMinn County is another team that we talk about frequently on this team, just matchups in the area, but they're a team I probably wasn't expecting to lose in the second round.
No, they had a really long road trip, though, and so I picked them to win. Again, I just thought they were probably athletically the better team, had the better offense, but again, kind of new territory for that Central program, so a little bit of a shot there, nothing like a wow factor or shot factor, but I did have them picked to win. They did not win.
How about 3 surprising wins? And one of them we can maybe mention Halls to start, who we'll hear from their head coach after this break. But Halls, I mean, we've talked about it. Started the season 0-3. They get one more loss in the season, and then it's kind of a winning streak the rest of the way. And talk about momentum.
Yeah, absolute momentum. I had, I think, an early mistake in that game last week against Lawrence County, and then just flipped the switch, and Amari Lethko ended up throwing for over 300 yards, 5 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. Brody Rogers is back. I mean, this is a guy that, as a junior, had over 1,000 yards receiving and 10 interceptions. It seems like he's doing that all the time now, over 100 yards receiving. He made some mind-bending catches that our people at home are watching on their cellular phones are getting to see right now.
Tablets,
and Jarrell Chandler is an absolute man. But what I love is that there's so many guys on defense that are making big plays, whether it's Gavin Self, whether it's Dom Culp, just a number of defensive standouts for this Halls team that are starting to really kind of make a name for themselves to be counterparts for all the offensive stars that Halls has. So it's wild. It's crazy to think that Halls is still alive given the start to the season that you mentioned. First time in the quarterfinals since 1996.
It's incredible.
I was a senior in high school during the 1996 season. So
that was the year I was born.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And so they made history, and now they'll have to face an old rival here this week. We'll talk about that.
Oh, yeah, that'll be a good one, a rematch of the regular season. How about Eagleton? They're still in. They're still playing for something.
Yeah, absolutely. Won their first region championship in the regular season. Then they won their first ever playoff game, and now they're just keeping it rolling. I mean, I like what they got going right now, and I like their chances this week. Lane Cope has had an unbelievable year as a wide receiver, defensive back, but it's not just him. They can run the football. They're really good on defense. There were some times early in the season when I didn't know what this team would be in 2A and probably just kind of resigned myself to the fact that we probably wouldn't have somebody hanging around deep in the 2A bracket this year. But they have gotten better each and every week, and they've got the momentum on their side right now. I like it.
Yeah. The other team that maybe to some might not feel like a surprise, but I think when you know the team well, you would probably consider it a surprise with all the quarterback changes because of injury. But Anderson County, the Mavericks are still punching.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe a month ago, we probably wouldn't have said that because, again, J.D. Gillum wasn't fully back yet, or maybe he was just coming back. We didn't know what he would be able to look like or if he would be able to stay healthy, because sometimes when people come back from broken collarbones, it gets re-injured quickly and they're out. So he's been able to stay upright, stay healthy, deliver the football in a timely manner. And Anderson County, as you mentioned, still punching. They go on the road to Greenville this week. They're really impressive.
Massive matchup,
yeah. Huge matchup. A lot of history there. We'll break that down when we come down to our picks and our round 3 preview. But Anderson County's got it going.
Yep. And before we get to those picks and who Jesse's going to take in round 3, we're going to turn our attention to Brent Hughes after this break. We'll see you guys on the other side.
The Film Room is presented by Smart Bank. Play smart, bank smart. Smart Bank. For more information, visit smartbank.com.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
All right, Coach, 42-14 win tonight. What went into the win, and how did you have that margin of victory?
Well, I mean, we just got big defensive stops. That's a really good offense. They put you in binds, big offensive line, and we just found ways. That's all I tell our kids all week is we're just going to find a way, right? You can sit there and say they're bigger than us. You can say they did this, they did that. My kids know how to play ball, and we find ways, and that's why we're still where we're at.
Yeah. This is the farthest Halls has gone since 1996.
Yeah.
I heard you say before we started talking you were trying not to get a little emotional.
Yeah.
What does this group mean to you, and why are they special?
Well, they're special because they were my first group as a head coach. So they're my babies, right? And like I said, it's hard not to get emotional because I'm just blessed I get another week with them. I don't know how long this thing is going to last. I don't know when it's going to end. But I know come Monday I get to see my dudes, and we're still playing, and we're going to try to find a way again.
Yes, sir. Obviously, you're not done yet, but what's it going to take for you guys to just keep going?
Yeah, you just got to regroup, heal up, and just find a way. Like as you win, it gets harder and harder. And it's a line of scrimmage league, right? Our offensive line stepped up, our defensive line stepped up at times, but it's going to get harder. And so you just got to find a way, and it starts in practice, and it just playing together and just finding a way and bending and don't breaking.
Welcome back into the Walk-Thru. Paige Dauer alongside Jesse Smithey. Turning our attention now to round 3 quarterfinals. This is I feel like when it really heats up, and I think the best place to start is a very friendly friend of the show and Vincent Napier over at Coalfield, who now has their 6th straight 10-plus win season.
Wow, yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, he's definitely got it going, and loves football, loves that community, as we talked with him about last week on the program. Jaden Bunch, their running back, set another record last week. I think he owns every rushing record in Coalfield history. And so that's out of the way, and then they kind of focus on the task at hand, and that's beating Sail Creek.
Yeah.
And I mentioned earlier in the program, Sail Creek's win over Rockwood was their first over a team with a winning record. They were able to force a lot of turnovers in that game. I think Coalfield is probably going to win this football game. We'll get to our picks and all that stuff later on, but I just feel like they're further along as a program than where Sail Creek is. Sail Creek had a new coach a year or two ago. He's trying to make that program, get it out of the cellar, and he's done a good job of doing that. A lot of people know him from his time at Meigs County, but Coalfield very motivated to get back to the semifinal round to face South Pittsburgh again. South Pittsburgh ended their season a year ago. Coalfield wants to see where it stacks up next week.
I do think it's an interesting matchup, and you're correct. A year ago for Sail Creek, they're 4-7. Now they're 11-0, but Coalfield seems like they're the battle-tested team.
Yeah, I just, again, they know this round. They know how to handle this pressure. They know what they want. It's just the only kind of questionable factor is just the road.
Yeah.
What kind of officials you might get down there, who knows? So there's always some kind of quirky things that happen on the road.
Yeah, we'll move up in classification to 2A, where we meet Eagleton at Bledsoe County. So Bledsoe leads 1-0 in the series, their last meeting in 2024, where they won 45-0. But that was in the first round. How different might it be in 2025?
Vastly different.
Okay.
I think very, very vastly different. Bledsoe County's not an offensive juggernaut or anything. You look back to their win last week over Happy Valley, and from what I read in the Johnson City Press, only 150 yards of total offense.
Oh, gosh.
But we're just able to force some turnovers, make the game ugly. Remember that goal line stand that they had against Happy Valley? I think Eagleton has the X factor with Lane Cope. I don't think Bledsoe County has probably faced a wide receiver that's as good as he is. And again, Eagleton can make it kind of muddy. They can run the football and win ugly sometimes. So this is a vastly different Eagleton team than they were a year ago.
How about in 3A? It's Meigs County at Gatlinburg-Pittman.
Yeah, so a lot of running the football.
Yeah.
I think Meigs County threw 2 passes last week. They rely on a guy named Tuff Ricker and Caden Brewster, and Caden Brewster had like over 200 yards rushing. Tuff Ricker had 4 rushing touchdowns a week ago. Nathan Simbeck is the head football coach at Meigs County. A lot of people up at Central High School recognize that name. He was the offensive coordinator there for a while. Then he coached under Gary Rankin down at Boyd Buchanan for a little bit. So a guy that knows what he's doing, knows how to win football games in various situations. Gatlinburg Pittman really impressed me last week.
Okay.
Remember, when we were doing our picks, I said, I'm picking Gatlinburg Pittman, but I don't feel good about it. They broke free from that win against Forest. It was like a 14-14 game, and ended up really kind of blowing them out in that game. Remember, Forest had that running back who would run for 2,700 yards.
Yes, I do know.
And over 30 touchdowns, and I think Gatlinburg Pittman held him to 121 yards and one touchdown. So if they can stop that guy, they might be able to stop the rushing attack of Meigs County.
Yeah, and the one stat I guess I think GP is 12-0 for the first time since at least before 1962 or since 1962.
Wow.
So
That's
it's been a
wild.
long time since they've had this type of undefeated season. We'll move up in 4A. It's Anderson County, Greenville. This is a heavyweight kind of matchup. What is maybe a couple of key players to keep our eyes out for?
Yeah, Zayden Anderson, he needs to do something as a receiver in one of these massive games. Last year, they came to play at Anderson County, and I don't think he had a catch in that game. Now, he's going to Tennessee to play corner, but this year he has over 1,000 yards receiving. He has 18 touchdowns.
Jeez.
He is a legit burner, and Anderson County's got some dudes in their secondary as well. He's going to want to make an impact on both sides of the football. He has to make an impact as a wide receiver. If he can't get down the field and make big plays happen, that allows Anderson County to kind of load the box a little bit, maybe just put single coverage out on him and do a lot more damage in other areas. So if they can establish Zayden Anderson, Greenville, as a wide receiver early, it could be lights out for Anderson County. But if Anderson County kind of hem him up again, then I really like their chances.
Okay, we'll keep it in the same classification. This time it's Alcoa and Red Bank. Of course, Red Bank ending Gibbs' run for the state title in a 34-7 victory. Does that give you hopes, knowing how Alcoa handled Gibbs, that they might be able to handle Red Bank? Or what are you watching for in this game?
Alcoa was dealt a blow earlier this week when they learned that Condis Cherry had a broken leg. So he's a guy that was a running back for them. They could use in the pass game. Kick returns, secondary. He had so many uses for that Alcoa football program, but they haven't had him the last couple of weeks.
Right.
But he's officially out for the season now. So it's kind of full steam ahead for Alcoa. Isn't it weird that they lost that game against Anderson County, which was so cataclysmic at the time? You're like, oh my gosh, Alcoa's a 2 seed. They're in the easier part of the bracket than they would have been probably had they won.
It's been at home.
County's having to go to face Greenville, and Alcoa's taking on a Red Bank team that probably doesn't have that much statewide respect. So I like their chances to win this game and advance to the semifinals.
Okay, the one I'm really excited to talk about, 5A Halls Central rematch of the regular season, and it's been several weeks since they've matched up, and I'm sure for one team they're looking for some revenge.
Yeah, so let's talk about what happened last week with these two teams.
Okay.
Of course, Halls won. They got the win going to the state quarterfinals, first time since 1996. They had a player ejected in that game. They won their appeal for with the TSSAA. He will be reinstated a defensive star for Halls. Central had a huge player ejected in their win against Columbia. That appeal did not get granted, so they are going to be without an offensive star in that football game. I'm going to leave names out of it at this point, but let's just say that he hasn't played before for Central, and they've done just fine. But that was a huge blow for Central. You're talking about a big-time offensive star for their football team. So I don't know if there's a second appeal process or whatever, but early indicators are that he won't be able to play in this game, and that matters a lot. Going back to their regular season meeting, Central found a way to win, and they've done it so many times.
38-35.
38-35. Caden Long had that touchdown pass late in the game that got the win. But that was just when Halls was kind of finding itself, and they had a game plan for that game, which was running Amari Lethko a lot. And he had a lot of rushing yards and touchdowns in that game. I wonder if they used the same blueprint the second time around or come up with something different.
Well, that could be interesting. I'm really looking forward to who he's going to be picking in the next couple of segments. How about in 6A, our Maryville team taking on Blackman. They're going on the road. And this is for Blackman. I believe it's their best season since Philip Shadowins was there. And they were, I think it says, 11-2 in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, it might have been the Juwan Jennings years.
Might have been,
Earl Blackman. And these two programs have history just like Maryville and Riverdale had history. And Maryville got the win over Riverdale last week. Will Jones, I thought, had a great game. Over 100 yards rushing, I think 3 rushing touchdowns as the starting quarterback for Maryville High School. And he's going to be critical in every stage of this playoff for Maryville High School because they don't really have a star running back. They have guys that are kind of complementary guys. Might have a big game every now and then, but I like the fact that Maryville didn't wear out Will Jones's legs in the regular season. They had a lot of guys kind of step up and provide that kind of serviceable run game, and now they can turn that guy loose. He's going to have another big game this week against Blackman, a beatable Blackman team. We're not talking about Oakland or anything like that, but again, going on the road to Murfreesboro, Rutherford County is always tough.
It always is. All right, coming up after the break, we're going to hear from the wide receiver and Jameer Dean from the Alcoa Tornadoes and how the season's been going for him, and then who Jesse Smithey is picking in the quarterfinals. We'll be right back.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
Welcome back to the Walk-Thru, presented by Triple F. I'm Jesse Smithey, now joined by Alcoa wide receiver and defensive back Jameer Dean, a junior at Alcoa High School this year, 13 receiving touchdowns, over 700 yards receiving. And Jameer, thanks for joining us on the program.
No problem. Gotcha.
Let's get it out of the way. The hair's looking fabulous these days. I mean, Thomas Manu, I thought, had some good hair. Yours is legit. Like, how much time you put into, like, how much effort does that require?
I mean, it really doesn't require any effort. I just get it wet and then go on by my day.
I can respect it. You've had a fantastic this year. Just especially last week, you had over 100 yards and a touchdown in that win over Upperman. And we talked at the quarterback club earlier this week, just kind of how the production numbers have gone up this year. Is that just out of effort? Is that just you connecting with Thomas Manu, or just y'all throwing the football more? Like, how did it happen?
It's really both, and it's a lot. Like I said, quarterback club. It's a trust thing too. And I think I've gotten a little better too. So, yeah.
You came into high school and you were an immediate contributor, and you kind of gotten better each and every year. What did you set out to get better on this year, though, knowing that you'd probably be counted on even more?
Well, I just thought I needed to step up this year. Need to grow up because I'm a junior this year.
Yeah, I mean, when you hit that upper class, I think back to when I was in high school, something changes in you mentally when you know you're an upperclassman. You got freshmen coming in, sophomores kind of looking to you. Do you feel that, and you feel like you kind of have to set the standard?
Yeah, just feel like I got to be a leader.
But when it came to your on-field play last year, did you take a look back and go, man, I can do this better, or I can run this route better? Like, what did you set out to?
Well, first, I just try to get down my speed, get my and then my routes. That's the main things I worked on.
I know it didn't surprise you guys at all, but for us in the media, for people that hadn't seen Thomas Manu throw a football, it kind of took us all aback. How cool is it to see him having this success? I mean, we're in round 3 of the playoffs. He still has more touchdown passes than incompletions.
It's just great. Like, people didn't expect him to have a great season like how he's having.
When did you feel like you had a connection with him? When did you feel like y'all established that?
Really, it was the summer. We used to go to Everett, throw the ball, catch. We did the little things.
Yeah, it's awesome to watch him play this year, and definitely kind of when I watched him play in that Maryville game, especially the second half, that was the moment I was like, man, this dude, he would be able to handle the pressure of playing at Alcoa and whatnot. He had another great week last week. I think Thomas was 21 and 24 throwing the football in that game at Upperman. Take me back to last week. Upperman has a unique community. How wild was that game, that atmosphere?
It was a great environment.
Anything crazy fans-wise?
it was kind of because like it was a big game for them and it was a big game for us. So it's like they had to show out.
Yeah. I mean, I know they had a big quarterback who liked to run it too. Were you playing defense? Like, how much were you called upon defense to kind of come up and help and run stop?
Well, I usually just play coverage. I'm usually last person to the ball. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I had to come help get him down.
Yeah, it's a big dude. He was like 6'3", 230. Bronson Chaffin, a Mr. Football semifinalist from Upperman High School. Now you guys go down to Red Bank this week, another road trip. What changes mentally when you go on the road as opposed to when Alcoa was playing at home in the playoff?
Well, it just motivates us because, like, we moved up, people doubted us, and then it's just like we put our heads down and do what we need to handle our business and do what we got to do.
Yeah. Do you know much about Red Bank at this time?
Red Bank, I mean, there are a lot of transfer from Chattanooga Prep. They're very skillful. They're very athletic.
Anything they do on the field that is different than what you've normally seen?
Yeah, they play like their defense is like far back. They blitz a lot. It's just like spread out a lot.
So as a receiver, what does that mean for you?
Just to find open spaces, get open.
So you're 6'3" and doing big things. I know you've been tweeting out offers and everything. How do you handle the football side of things and also kind of exploring colleges and what you might want to do someday?
Well, I just really just put my head down. Don't let all that stuff get to me. Just keep working.
You also play basketball. You've won the championship in basketball for Alcoa High School. Do you maybe want to look at that too? Or are you considering that in college?
I mean, it's hard. It's hard, but I mean
to do both, or
it's hard to do both. It's hard to do both, but like I'm sticking to football. Like I have my mind on football.
So when do you transition fully out of football mode into basketball mode? Do you, like, when the season's over, do you give yourself a week to kind of heal up, or do you go straight into it?
I just go straight into it. That's just always been me. I'm never just taking breaks off. I just like going straight to it.
Yeah. With football and Alcoa, obviously there was disappointment in week 11 when you guys lost to Anderson County. Did you learn anything about yourself in that game? I
mean, we all learned something about ourselves because like we thought we was gonna come out and win the game, but it really like they just played better. It got to us now. We're motivated. We got something to prove now.
And say Alcoa is already motivated always. Everybody wants to win a state championship and kind of keep that streak going. How much did that kind of increase that motivation?
Increases like a lot.
So do you find yourself kind of looking at the bracket and who else is out there and kind of keeping up with it?
I mean, not as much. I mean, I just want to win.
Just want to win. Well, y'all been doing that for a long time at Alcoa. And Jameer, man, I want to thank you for coming down and joining us on the program tonight.
Appreciate you.
And always good to see you. Look for this guy on Friday night, round 3 down at Red Bank, Alcoa High School, taking on those, what are they, the Lions? I can't remember what they're called.
It's something like that.
The Fighting Lions. Gerald Riggs. That's all I know. Gerald Riggs Jr. played there at Red Bank High School, but it's a big game in 4A. And the winner of that game takes on Anderson County, Greenville winner, in the state semifinals next week. And of course, you can watch Jameer Dean play basketball at Alcoa too. So don't go anywhere. We got more to come on the program tonight, right here at Triple F.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
The Film Room is presented by Smart Bank. Play smart, bank smart. Smart Bank. For more information, visit smartbank.com.
Welcome back into the Walk-Thru, Paige Dauer alongside Jesse Smithey. I know we had touched on it earlier about Mr. Football, but getting down to the wire and hopefully kind of those local guys see their names there.
Yeah, Tyreek King is somebody that I went to go watch this past Friday night. You saw the Catholic Baylor highlights there, and we also got to see David Gabriel Georges, the running back from Baylor, #1 running back in the country. Tennessee is after, Ohio State is after. He's an absolute man-child. I mean, he ran for 150 yards on 13 carries, and it didn't even feel like he had that great of a game because I mean, their passing game was going so well. But he's a guy that won Mr. Football last year, likely going to win Mr. Football. I like Tyreek. I think he deserves a Mr. Football award, but David Gabriel Georges is just an unbelievable football player. Some saying maybe the best running back who's ever come through this state.
Wow.
And so it was an opportunity to see him. But yeah, on Tuesday of next week, the TSSAA will announce the finalists for Mr. Football. And I stress it every week on the show. This is a regular season award.
Yes.
There was no secondary vote after the second or third round. So all these finalists that you see were actually picked or voted on back after week 11. It's all a blind vote. The TSSAA knows the votes. I don't as a voting member of that board. And so we're learning as everybody else learns. That'll be Tuesday night, somewhere around 7:30 Eastern maybe.
Okay.
We'll kind of get an update on that. But we'll have all that on 5starpreps.com. We'll push it out on social media as fast as we get it. And I think, again, we've been kind of shut out the last couple of years. I think we get a couple winners this year. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, it should be exciting. For some teams, while they're fighting for a state title, other teams are out of it, and that means coaching carousel starting again. 3 area teams,
Yeah,
Jesse.
we saw Don Mahoney resign out of Webb School in Knoxville, and that was definitely a shock. And a guy that's coached at the college level. And, of course, Rusty Bradley got the head job at Lenoir City, so they've gotten that vacancy filled.
Yeah.
South Doyle coach L.A. Hedrick surprisingly was asked to resign after his second year. I thought he had done a good job. I mean, he had to kind of establish some culture that first year. Some kids left the program, didn't like, I guess, what he was trying to do there, so he endured that tough first season. But they were 4-2 at one point this season and gave Anderson County a heck of a game in the latter half of the year, but injuries started piling up and they ended up losing out. So he put on Facebook earlier this week that he'd been asked to resign, and he ended up doing so. Somebody's going to get a good coach in L.A. Hedrick, and then Morristown West, Alvin Sanders resigned. He's going into administration there at Morristown West.
Okay.
So they will have a change. So it's that time of the year, like you mentioned. I don't think we'll end up having as many last year. We had 19 coaching changes in our 70 school-wide coverage area. I think somewhere around 8 to 10 this year.
Okay, might stay in the double digits.
I might actually be able to enjoy my Christmas break.
Yes, which is all we want to do. All right, let's get our attention to the quarterfinals. We previewed it in the last couple of segments, players to look out for. But here I want to see, what might be that difference maker and why you're going to be picking some of these teams here in the quarterfinals. We'll start in the same order with Single A, Coalfield, Sale Creek. What are we looking at? Is it Coalfield?
Yeah, I think it's Coalfield. Again, Jaden Bunch, the running back there, has had a fantastic year. But Hayden Hedrick has kind of complimentary tailback back there. He's making big plays, big numbers this year. He's just a junior. He'll probably be the heir apparent to Jaden Bunch after this year. So you got 2 legit running backs. You got a head coach that's motivated. You know how to win at this round in the postseason. So I like Coalfield to win, maybe by a couple touchdowns or more.
Okay, so we're doing score predictions now.
Yeah,
okay, I'm going to cue that in my memory log. Well, we'll go to 2A now. It's Eagleton and Bledsoe. We kind of highlighted why this might favor Eagleton, I believe. So for you, what has you leaning that way?
The only question mark I have, again, is just playing on the road in the postseason in a different environment. How will Eagleton handle that? The pressure of, the semifinals is right around the corner.
Yeah.
They can't look ahead. They got to stay locked in, keep doing what they're doing and what they've been doing over the last handful of weeks. If they do that, I think they can win on the road. Again, Bledsoe County, not a big offensive firepower. Powerhouse. Come out of both. All that. They are not that. This is a game that Eagleton can very much win, again, if they don't get ahead of themselves. So I like Eagleton to win the football game.
How many touchdowns?
Ooh, I think it's going to be close. I'm like 3 to 6 points.
Okay, a close favorite. I love that. Okay, we'll move up in classifications. 3A Megs at Gatlinburg Pittman. First meeting, I believe, since the 90s as well.
Yeah, people ask me all year, who's going to be the new 3A banner carrier for East Tennessee now that Alcoa's out? Is it Gatlinburg-Pittman? Is it blah, blah, blah? And for the longest time, I would not buy into Gatlinburg-Pittman. I just wanted to see more because they weren't really playing a lot of tough teams in the regular season. After what they did last week, that was my first like wow moment for this GPT. That was the first time that I was like, all right, we got us something here. So I like GP to win this football game. If they can stop a 2,700-yard rusher who 30, 40 touchdowns, if they can stop that guy and limit him to 120 yards, I think they can stop Meigs County's rushing attack. But again, these are two guys as opposed to what Forest had last week in one.
Yes, and it's all about maybe slowing down. I don't know if they'll stop them, but if they can slow them down just enough. Over in 5A, it's Anderson County at Greenville. So the last meeting that I remember is, I believe it was 2024, and Anderson County gets the win in the quarterfinals as well.
Yeah, they brought it into Greenville season, and again, Zayden Anderson did not perform well in that game as a wide receiver. I think it changes this time around. He seems like he's a different player offensively. Caden Ball at quarterback is one of East Tennessee's best. He's a Mr. Football semifinalist, a guy who leads the team in rushing. He is insanely fast. I mean, when I watched him last year making plays on the ground against Alcoa, that turned me into a Caden Ball believer. Wow. And now he's increased his passing game. This is not going to be an easy game for Greenville to win. I think we all understand that. But Greenville's secondary with Zayden Anderson, a Tennessee commit. You got Taryn Clarity, who's got 7 interceptions. You got Zane Rickard, who's got 5 interceptions. I feel like on the back end of that Greenville defense, they might be able to kind of keep J.D. Gillum in that passing game that we saw gash Alcoa with big plays. I think that back end of that Greenville defense might be the difference maker in this game. So I like Greenville to win.
Okay, it's interesting that you bring up the Alcoa match because I was almost thinking too that it might take that same type of gutsy play call from Anderson County to either keep this game close or push them over the edge.
Yeah, maybe. Again, I mean, it's not going to shock me in the least if Anderson County finds a way to go up there and win. I mean, they have a ton of talent. J.D. Gillum's at an all-time high in terms of where his confidence is, and we know what Jason Thompson can do on the ground and as a wide receiver in that offense. So it's going to be a marquee game, a heavyweight bout.
For Alcoa, of course, they're in 4A. They're up in classification. I'm not sure if this is the round that it catches up to them or if it catches up to them at all, but in this matchup against Red Bank, where they're 4-0 in the series, is it 5-0 after this weekend?
There was one year, Paige, where I said I was so confident that Alcoa was going to go on the road and shut out their opponent that I offered a free lifetime membership to 5starpreps.com if the opponent even scored a point against Alcoa.
Even a point.
And that was against Upperman back in the day. But this is a Red Bank team that, again, I think is very athletic. And we've seen Alcoa giving up some points here and there, but it's Alcoa. It's the quarterfinals. They do not lose in this round, giving the Tornadoes by a significant margin.
A significant margin. That sounds like several touchdowns. Okay, moving up in classification, 5A, Lincoln County, Sevier County. Sevier County, of course, at home, which might be the difference maker against who they should be, a much more talented athletic team.
I like Sevier County to win this game by a lot. I was kind of looking forward to maybe a Sevier County Powell rematch, but they did not happen. I don't think Lincoln County knows what it's about to get into. Sevier County is peaking at the right time. They are a different team than what we saw midway through the regular season, giving the Smoky Bears, again, by 14.
By a lot, by like wide margin.
Maybe more.
Okay, I like a specific number.
I don't think this is going to be a good game at all.
Oh gosh, it might be over in the first half kind of deal. Okay, over at 5A, Hall Central County, a rematch of what was a 38-35 final. Amari Lefko, do they get him cruising in this game?
Wow, this is a tough one. And again, I told you Central's going to be without one of its star players on offense. I still like Central to win this game. Again, all the adversity they faced. They played games without this young man. They won on the road when this young man got tossed from. And that environment at Columbia is tough.
Yes.
And they still won by, 10 points or so. What they've done this year has been impressive. Caden Long at quarterback has been impressive. This is going to be an unbelievable atmosphere, an unbelievable game. Halls has got all the momentum going its way right now. Central, again, is kind of battle-tested. I'm going to take Central to win another close football game. I think they find a way to win it somehow.
Yeah, I think it's another field goal, 3-point difference too. Comes down to the wire.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what Central's done in so many games this year. I can't see this going in an opposite direction. So, fantastic game. Look, leave the streaming alone if you're out there. Go to a high school football game. Go make the stands packed again.
Yes.
And I hate that. So that's one thing I encourage everybody. If you're in Knoxville, go to one of these football games. Central and Hall is a great rivalry. Go to a high school football game. I think you'll enjoy this one. Yeah,
especially now getting deep into the quarterfinals and the playoffs where the matchups for the most part are very good. One that might be very good is 6A, Maryville, Blackman. I mean, On the road, I think.
Searched and looked for guys for Blackman that I could say, hey, this guy's going to be a difference maker, or this guy's a big prospect. Maybe I looked in the wrong places, but I didn't see anything. This is a very winnable game for Maryville High School. They want to get back to that semifinal round against Oakland. They played so well last year on the road at Oakland. They took a lot from that game, even though they lost it. They want to get back there. Maryville wins this football game.
All right, so
sets up that rematch.
4-0 in series history between these two teams. So if you missed anything from today's episode, you can certainly rewind it on the platform that you're watching, or go ahead to go to 5starpreps.com and make sure you are a subscriber, as you're not handing out lifetime memberships at this time for free. So it was good talking to you all. We'll have so much more on the round 3 high school football coverage coming up Friday night, and then we'll see you guys again next week.
This is the Walk-Thru, powered by Triple F Elite Sports Training. Train like a pro. Your all-access pass to the biggest games, hottest stories, and everything high school football in East Tennessee. From the Friday night lights to the chase for championships, we bring you the stars, the headlines, and every heart-pounding moment. So strap on that chin strap and get ready. Jesse, Paige, and the 5-Star Preps team are here with the most complete high school football coverage in the state. This is the Walk-Thru.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.